Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 25.5 of NWA Chicago. So I didn't want to officially make it episode number 26 because it's not really an episode. This is just more of an updates video that some of you guys wanted to see. You wanted to see what was really going on in the wrestling world outside of NWA Chicago. And it is an interesting thing to think about because we've played 6 full months of this game in an alternate universe, almost 7 months. And so it's really fascinating to see what the world looks like in our now completely off-track world with NWA Chicago in it. So here is the homepage for the company. We have $145,000 in the bank right now. We posted a loss last month. I'll explain that later on. We're a regional-sized company. We're the 8th largest wrestling company in the world. We have a 42 prestige and a 24 momentum. Our momentum actually skyrocketed coming out of December because of that Starrcade performance. It was fantastic. We wound up winning the regional battle for December outright, number 1 for sure, and so I think that really helped boost our momentum. Main Event Showcase is going to be tonight, so as I think I said in Starrcade, we're going to start holding Showcase on Monday nights and then showing it on Tuesday nights because we have a lot of talent that don't work Tuesdays. So that tape delay is something that we're going to have to wind up doing. So this is just the at a glance of the company. We're going to go over here. We're going to take a look at the financials of the company. Current cash, we have $145,000, as I said. We've posted losses the last 2 months, but I can explain these losses. We're really not in a bad position in terms of the company. So we wound up paying well over $100,000 on drug tests for all of our wrestlers after Odinson I had a little bit of a suspicion on Odinson for steroids. He popped for steroids, and I said, well, shit, I might as well just test all my wrestlers. And so that wound up costing me well over $100,000. And then this past month, we posted a $50,000 loss because we put a lot of money into Starrcade. And I mean a lot of money into Starrcade. We put $50,000 into a special set. We paid, I think, $20,000 for a band, $2,000 for minor celebrities, and we paid a lot of money for some of those talents. Jushin Liger alone, we got him on loan from New Japan. Jushin Liger alone cost us $10,000 for his appearance at Starrcade. So we put a lot of money into the show to make it great, and it was great because I knew that we had a lot of money and we were going to make a decent amount of it back. So we put a lot of money in to try to make the show better, and objectively speaking, I think the show was significantly better, because as you can see, we spent $122,000 on show costs, as opposed to September when our last event was, when we only spent $61,000, so only an extra $18,000 than a usual month. We spent a lot more, and I think it was well worth it. So after we take a look at that, we will look at the titles and see title prestiges. So the Chicago Street War, which Sami Callihan won, it is a B prestige. The world title is a B plus around the waist of Cody. He has 3 defenses. He has defended it 3 times in 3 months so far. And for him, it was Aldis. He had 2 defenses. The world tag titles are at a 70 C plus. I should also show you guys the world title track prestige. So we came in and it was an 85 B+, so it's been consistently around that 80-85 region. We haven't been able to boost it to an A yet because we haven't had like a super solid match, but I have a feeling it's coming pretty soon. It'll happen this year. Now back to the World Tag Team titles. We got the Lucha Brothers holding the titles. I have it set to floating. I don't really like having a lot of mid-card titles. I prefer having the floating titles because I don't just put the belt on mid-card guys, and I want to sometimes elevate the prestige by giving it to higher-up guys. So there's been quite a few tag team champions since we took over the company. It started with Miyamoto and Rob Terry, then it transitioned to Steiner and Williams, then the Machine Guns won it, and now the Lucha Brothers have it, and the prestige has been all over the place, but we've really improved the prestige quite significantly over our lifespan in NWA Chicago, so I'm happy with that. Now we look at the television title. It's held by Cologne right now, Carlito. Tyler Bate held it for 6 title defenses. First of all, it was retired since 1991, and we brought it out of retirement. It went Bate, Hendry, Reyes, Gordon, and now Cologne. The Prestige, it's really improved in the Prestige, especially through the reigns of Flip Gordon and now Carlito. It was really kind of rough at the beginning. Bate wasn't putting up great performances. Hendry didn't put up great performances. Reyes started to improve it some, but then Gordon really kind of took it to the next level, and I'm so thankful to him for that. And then the women's title, it's at a 45D. So, not what I meant to do. Kaylee Ray had it for 2 defenses. Jazz lost it to Kaylee Ray on her first show. And then Tenille's had it for 3 defenses. And if we track the prestige, it's done quite well since we took over the company. Jazz wasn't doing too great. So Kaylee Ray and Tenille Dash would have really done a lot to make this title a lot more prestigious. And then our most prestigious title is actually the Starrcade Classic Tournament, which was won by the big guy, and, you know, it's only an A, and it's only ever been an A. So that's what we have in terms of our titles. Now we're going to take a look at the size of the company. We're at 35. Well, this is importance. Our importance is a 35 E plus in the Great Lakes and a 32 E plus in the Mid-South. Not really huge everywhere else. We only have TV deals in North America or the US and Canada. We don't have one anywhere else in the world, unfortunately. We take a look at the progress of our popularity. We've been improving pretty significantly. It was really rough those first few months. We weren't posting excellent shows, but we really have done a lot better recently with the improved roster and all the things I've been doing to try to improve our shows. It's really been helping, and I feel like we're going to hit cult status. Not soon, but hopefully by the end of the year. That's what I'm hoping. And then Canada's the only really other one that we have to look at, because all these ones were not popular at all. It's just word of mouth. But in Canada, we are improving our popularity significantly. Broadcasting, we still have our deals with ESPN for both events and main event showcase. They're still not willing to offer us another time slot, which I'm perfectly okay with. We only have about 2 months left on our TV deal for shows with ESPN, not events. Events, we have a long-term deal. Shows, we still only have a short-term deal. I don't know if I'm going to stay with ESPN or switch to another one. We'll have to see. I'm hoping that I can get a different broadcast slot now that our shows have been doing a lot better. Alright, so then I want to show you guys NXT, because NXT is honestly actually one of our main competitors in terms of regional battle. They're always putting up great shows, so let's take a look at their size. They're doing great in terms of their size. They have a D- in one area, but really that's the highest they have in the United States. So we are bigger than them, actually, at the moment. And their progress, they've actually been declining in the Southeast, which is their home region, Orlando, but they're increasing just about everywhere else in the United States. In terms of the champions, I actually haven't looked at this yet. So their champions, the Mae Young Classic was run by Conti this year. The Dusty Cup hasn't happened yet. NXT champion is Aleister Black still. He's been killing it. The prestige of this belt has been wildly, not significant, but steady. That's more the word I was looking for. Let's look at all these. There's some impressive defenses in here. Now the North American title, still on the waist of Adam Cole. Adam Cole is absolutely killing it. Here's one thing that I don't get about the logic in WWE and NXT booking, is there's so many matches that are won or lost by countout and DQ in terms of title matches, and I do not like that one bit. The tag team, well, let's check the prestige. It's gone up significantly. The tag team titles, still with O'Reilly and Fish, wildly consistent there. Defenses, look at that again. Countouts and DQs for all but one match. You gotta be kidding me. And the women's title is on Dakota Kai. She defeated Shayna Baszler at an episode of just NXT. Track to prestige. It's gone up significantly, so I'm happy about that. Happy to see that for other companies. I'm not really going to show the top 100 or product or anything like that, because I don't really think that matters too much. Well, I mean, I guess we can look at their top 100 in terms of their events. So their events, they have not had an event as good as Starrcade. I think they've had a better match, but that's because they had Randy Orton on an episode of NXT. Velveteen Dream versus... Look at this shit! Aleister Black defeated John Cena, Rowe, and Birch, and it's only got a C+. This is kind of bullshit that they had... Their top matches are only because of Randy Orton and John Cena. But whatever. I'm not super salty about that. That was all I really wanted to watch there. WWE. WWE is in a really weird spot. So I told you that they fell to cult size. They fell from global to national, national to cult, which I'm confused as to why they haven't frozen yet, but they have fallen literally everywhere consistently each month, and it's not looking good for them. They're rising outside of the US again, but inside the US and Canada, they just keep falling because they're not putting on good shows consistently. If we look at the history, like Clash of Champions was kind of a joke, and they're just not overall putting on good shows with any level of consistency. Their champions, I also don't get a lot of the things about their champions. So Samoa Joe's the WWE champion. Let's look at defenses. It's mostly been defended on Raw and SmackDown. They also got rid of brand exclusivity, the brand split, so that kind of messes with things. But there's definitely some interesting defenses in here, like he defeats one of the Wyatts, Uso, and Lashley. Really interesting. He had a triple threat with Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. We look at the Cruiserweight title. It's on Drew Gulak. I like that. I want to look at the track prestige. So the prestige has gone down on the WWE title. The Cruiserweight title, the prestige has gone up. The Intercontinental title is on Eric Young. I actually really like that. The prestige has gone up. But again, the Intercontinental title is another one that does not get any respect in this game. DQ, DQ, count out, DQ, count out, DQ. Drew Gulak was 2 of those. Kalisto and Grand Metalik. There weren't a lot of significant defenses here. And again, quite a few of them were on Raw. The Raw Tag Team titles. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. They have defended the titles twice since they won them in April. That is absolutely unacceptable. They're not defending the titles. The Raw Women's title, Track Prestige, it's gone up. She has defended it a bunch on pay-per-view. SmackDown Tag Team titles, Rowan and Harper, they still have the belts. Track the Prestige, it's gone up. SmackDown Women's title, Sasha Banks, I think that's actually a good one. She's gone up in terms of that. The U.S. title's on Jeff Hardy. It's gone down. Here is the most ludicrous one. We go to the Universal title. Who do you think would be the Universal Champion? Just get the picture in your mind right now. Did you think it would be Broken Matt Hardy? Did you think that Broken Matt Hardy would devalue the Universal title? And did you think that Broken Matt Hardy would defeat Brock Lesnar for the Universal title on an episode of Raw? Not even a pay-per-view, on an episode of Raw. I don't get the logic of this game at all when booking WWE. It confuses me significantly, but I just have to accept it. So Matt Hardy is the face of the WWE right now with the Universal title. He's held it for over 6 months now. 7 defenses. Good for you, Matt Hardy. Good for you. Now they're top 100. Obviously, they've had Bs in the past, but they are declining significantly. Their top matches, B+, John Cena, Kevin Owens. Obviously, they're going to have good matches because they have such great talent. But they're number 1, obviously, still. 73 in prestige, 73 in momentum. And I think that's all I'm going to look at right now. I don't really see a point in looking at AAA, CMLL, New Japan, because we're not really competing with them so much. Actually, the one I wanted to look at right now is Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground is the 11th largest company in the world. They have an insane amount of momentum right now because they've just been putting on absolutely great shows for their size. Look at how great Lucha Underground has been doing in recent weeks. They've just been putting on actually really, really good shows. We're going to take a look at their size. They're actually fairly close to becoming a cult-sized company in the grand scheme of things. Southwest, they've just been booming in popularity. Same in the Mid-South. They have been absolutely insane. Let's look at their titles. Pentagon Dark is the Lucha Underground champion. He's had some very good defenses. And that title, he's just made it one of the most prestigious titles in wrestling. The Gift of the Gods is held by Matanza Cueto. He's had it for a lot of defenses. The game doesn't book the Gift of the Gods title as it's meant to be booked, but that's just because the booking logic of the game is much different from the real world itself. Son of Havoc, Sexy Star, and Joey Ryan hold the Lucha Underground Trios titles. They've made them more prestigious. They've only had a few defenses since they won them, though. And now let's look at their top 100. One episode of Lucha Underground was really, really good, better than our episode of Starrcade, and Rey Mysterio Jr. defeating Cage was their top match. So one of the things you'll notice is there's a lot of Pentagon Dark, Phoenix, and Rey Mysterio at the top here. I think almost all of them have, almost all of them, literally all of them, have at least one of those competitors in the match. So they're really, really good competitors. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring in Phoenix and Pentagon Jr., but also because I really like them and I had some ideas of things I could do with them. So that's really all I want to show you guys in terms of companies. Now I want to take you over and show you the headlines from around the world. We have Wrestler of the Year is Tetsuya Naito. Let's take a look at his top 10 matches. He has had 3 A-quality matches. He defeated Kenny Omega on the Genesis Tour. Kota Ibushi defeated him, and then he defeated Kota Ibushi in somewhat of a rematch. So Tetsuya Naito has been very, very good. He's still the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Company of the Year, New Japan. Of course, it's their 15th time winning the championship for that. Tama Tonga and Kenny Omega are the Tag Team of the Year. I actually want to look at their matches together. Match history involving Kenny Omega. Wow, they've had a lot of matches together. So I guess they're like a legit tag team in New Japan right now. So, shit. He holds the Never Openweight 6-man tag titles. Match of the year was Tetsuya Naito defeating Kenny Omega, which I think that was only an ace. So we had no A-star quality matches this past year. Show of the year was the New Japan G1 Climax. I'll actually take a look at that one really quick because I want to see how great that show was. So we go history. Oh shit. I don't like how you gotta click in here. The G1 Climax. There it is. It was only an 82, and that was the show of the year, was the G1 Climax. Okada defeated Kojima for the IWGP title. Zack Sabre Jr. won the Climax, which is pretty cool. So this is a pretty interesting card if you look at it top to bottom. But for it to be show of the year and only be an 82, that's really interesting to me. New Japan is the 4th largest company in the world. Just a nice thing to note there. Young Wrestler of the Year is Dragon Lee, the 23-year-old. Veteran Wrestler of the Year, Rey Mysterio. Female Wrestler of the Year is Maiko Satomura. I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name. Independent Wrestler of the Year is Jeff Jarrett, who wrestled 6 matches in 2018. He's 51 years old. Manager of the Year is Paul Heyman. Gotta be. Announcer of the Year is Mauro Ranallo. I really want to pick up Mauro Ranallo when his contract ends, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Color Commentator of the Year, Corey Graves. Gotta give it to Corey Graves. Referee of the Year is Japanese mat-slapping, rule-enforcing countout, giving Kingpin Tiger Hattori. And that is all we have for the yearly awards. Now, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood is in crisis. I tried to buy them. They did not want me to buy them yet. Alright, so we look at our most popular wrestlers here, our franchise players, and our biggest guy is Pentagon Jr. right now, followed by Cody, Phoenix, Nick Aldis, and we have Mystico 2 on loan from CMLL right now. I just wanted to try to get Cody a little more over in the entire world, so I traded Cody, and I think Phoenix for a couple appearances from Mystico 2, just so Cody can gain a little bit of popularity down in Mexico. Because eventually I plan on expanding my shows and running them elsewhere, but I like that my top few guys here are all under the age of 35. They're going to have a lot of years together, and hopefully they can bring us to a lot of prominence. Cody, I was really hoping Cody would be my number 1 guy, but I'm fine with Pentagon Jr. being the number 1 right now because I do have some interesting plans from the future. Alright, and then I just wanted to show off a few guys that we have on the roster and how over they are, just a few updates with them. So Cody holds the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. That's the only title he's holding in wrestling right now. I guess I could go over here to popularity instead. He's pretty over in North America. He's a C- in all of the US and Canada, and then a D- in Scotland, and E+ in Mexico. If we track his progress, he's really gotten over in the past 6 months. He kind of stagnated here, but that win over Ryback really, that gave him 6 points of popularity, that win over Ryback at Starrcade. So I think that was a great choice to put him over Ryback. You look here, he got that little boost from going over Nick Aldis. But that's kind of what I wanted to show off with Cody Rhodes is he's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He's very over. He's number 25 in the world right now in the top. He's number 25 in the world right now in the Power 500. He works for a lot of different companies. We have him on loan to CMLL and AAA because I want to try to work on his overness in Mexico. As I said, he works for 01, ROH. He works for New Japan. Can I look at his employment history? Yeah. So currently he works with 01, NWA Chicago, ROH, New Japan, MPW. He's on loan with RPW UK. He's on loan with CMLL, and he's on loan with AAA. So he is a busy man. All right, then we take a look at Pentagon Jr., who is not only the Lucha Underground champion, but the NWA World Tag Team champion, one half of them. He's number 7 in the world in terms of popularity, and he's just going to be one of my favorite guys to use going forward because he's so great, and he's really popular. If you look at his popularity, he's also mid-50s for the entirety of the U.S. He's D in Canada, but he's really over in Mexico. So if you look, he has this huge jump here from June to July because he held both the Impact World title. I think he held the Impact World title in that time. Or he either held it or he challenged Homicide for it. But he had a lot of massive matches in this span in Impact and Lucha Underground, and it just jettisoned his popularity so much. I think he had a couple significant losses, but now he's back up to this impressive popularity level. Pentagon Jr. has gotten so over in the past 6 months. It is absolutely insane. This is like one of the biggest turnarounds I think I've ever seen in a game of TEW. But it's also because he works with so many different companies. But still, this is absolutely huge. We then go from Pentagon to his brother Phoenix, the other half of the NWA World Tag Team Champions. He's also half of the Impact World Tag Team Champions and the Crash Cruiserweight Champion. He's number 16 in the world in terms of the Power 500. His popularity, he is not as over as the other two, as you would imagine. He's still decently over in the world, though. But just like Pentagon, not quite as fast, but he's still gotten very over in the past 6 months. But still, not as fast as Pentagon Jr., but I do like having him this over, and he's a guy who's going to make it a great addition to the roster. Then we move on to Nick Aldis. He's number 142 in the world in the Power 500. He only works for NWA Chicago and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. We take a look at his popularity. He's in the D's. He's really kind of fallen this calendar year because he has had some significant losses. The most significant, obviously, was losing the NWA World title to Cody, so he dropped. He's been pretty consistent since then. That loss to Tyler Bate didn't really affect him too much, so he's a guy we're going to work towards building up again because I do like Nick Aldis. And then one guy we might be forgetting is the big guy, a.k.a. Ryan Reeves. He's number 52 in the Power 500. He has a touring deal with New Japan and works with NWA Chicago. He was not on our top 5 franchise players list because he's on vacation right now, so he doesn't have an active push. But if you look at his popularity, he's very over all around the world. He is our most over guy, but he's still not number 1 in the company. I think he's number 3 behind Cody and Pentagon Jr., but he got very over because he was squashing a lot of people. He won the Starrcade Classic, but then he lost a lot of overness when he lost to Cody at Starrcade, but I'm okay with that because we put Cody over him, and it's all about putting over the younger guys. Ryan Reeves is 37 at this point, and I don't want to call him an enhancement talent, but he's a little bit more of a gatekeeper, I'd call him. But I appreciate having him. Now there's just a few more guys that I kind of want to highlight here, and the first one is Flip Gordon. He's 308 on the Power 500. He is signed to ROH and NWA Chicago. If you look at his popularity, we brought him from almost nothing, and we slowly built him over time to be a solid mid-card guy, and hopefully we can build him even further. He's had some really good matches. A lot of them were outside of NWA, but quite a few of them were in NWA Chicago, and I'm really happy with the performer Flip Gordon's becoming. He's really becoming a key player, in my eyes, in NWA Chicago, so I appreciate having him around. If we look at title history, should tell us that he was not even ranked last year on the Power 500, and now he's 308, so I'm really happy with that. And then one of the other guys I wanted to highlight was Tyler Bate because he's the 21-year-old guy. He's number 337 on the Power 500. That was the wrong tab. He was not ranked last year, so he's 337. He works for a lot of different companies, and his popularity, it's been pretty consistent. We've built him up slowly, and he's doing really good, and he's someone, again, that I really want to use consistently going forward. But I think that's the entirety of the guys I want to show you on the roster in terms of highlighting them. No, it's not. There's a couple of ladies I wanted to bring up. First one is Kaylee Ray. She works for a lot of different companies. She's the Pro Wrestling Eve champion. She's number 276 in the world. She was not ranked last year, so she's ranked almost in the top half of the top Power 500 after only 6 months. Her popularity has skyrocketed in the US since we brought her in. She is very much loved and someone who I would love to give another championship reign to, and looking towards the future, she might get that. But Kaylee Ray is definitely someone that is going to be a backbone of the women's division, especially at the young age of only 26 years old. And now we're going to take a look at the NWA World Women's Champion, my lady, Tenille Dashwood. We are the only company that Tenille Dashwood works for, surprisingly enough. She's unranked in the Power 500. Her title history, last year she was 341. She's unranked now. We're having some issues with Tenille Dashwood. She's not really gaining any popularity. If you look at her popularity, that win at Starrcade was just about it in terms of her popularity gains for the year. The World Women's title hasn't done anything to get her more over. A few wins. The win over Kaylee Ray did nothing for her. So it's really been a struggle to try to get Tenille Dashwood more over with the crowd. And that's something I'm going to have to look forward to in the future, or look to do in the future. But I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it at the moment. And there's a couple more women I want to highlight. Obviously, when you're talking about women in NWA Chicago, you have to look at the alpha female. She has been one of the dominant presences in our women's division. She went undefeated for so long, didn't lose clean, lost clean to Toni Storm, and that was all she did. She is also unranked in the Power 500. That is the wrong tab once again. We're We're going with title history. She was not ranked last year, so it's not like she fell off the Power 500. But if we look at her popularity, we have gotten her from 0 popularity up to 20, which I think is pretty good considering, you know, she started at 0. We built her as the monster heel of the division, and now we're going to have to look at building her back up after she got her first loss. I actually want to look at the match history for her in, not also involving company, NWAC 2018. She was 5-5 in NWA Chicago, really? She lost by DQ. She lost in the Battle Royal. She lost by DQ. So she really only had 1 clean loss, but she only had 5 wins. That surprises me that she only had 5 wins last year. She beat Amazing Maria, Alexia Nicole, Kira Hogan, Christina Von Eerie, and Tessa Blanchard. So there weren't as many big wins as I expected from Alpha Female. But I feel like we did create her as an imposing figure with a lot of the angles that we did, especially her beatdown of Tenille Dashwood and Toni Storm. So I feel like that's kind of how we established the character for her. Her highest rating was a 44D, so she really started doing well towards the end there. But I feel like, yes, she was carried by other performers. Her best performances were with Kaylee Ray in somewhat of a carry, Tenille Dashwood in a carry, Tenille Dashwood in a carry, and Toni Storm in a carry. And speaking of Toni Storm, she's the last woman I would like to highlight. The 23-year-old New Zealander, Toni Storm. She works all around the world. She's the WXW Women's Champion. She's the Progress Women's Champion. She's number 366 in the Power 500, and she was not ranked last year, is Toni Storm, and she is quickly becoming one of the most sought-after women in the business. If you take a look at her popularity, she is the most popular women's wrestler I have in the company. She has gone up so much since we signed her. I don't know when she debuted. I think she debuted somewhere around here. Yeah, she debuted and she won the All-In Battle Royal, so that did actually give her quite a jump there, and she's had significant jumps since then, and then she's broken into the D-minuses with that win over the Alpha Female, and I'm so proud of Toni Storm. I'm so glad to have a woman that's performing as well as Toni Storm is, and at such a young age as Toni Storm. So I'm very happy to have her. Thank goodness we have Toni Storm. And that is pretty much what I wanted to show you guys for the updates for the company right now. If you guys have anything else you would like to see, feel free to ask. I will make another 0.5 video if you guys ask to show you more things. But for right now, I don't plan on making that. What we'll actually do is we'll take a look at the top 500. Let you guys read this. I'm not going to read it for you. But I will make another one after each event. So with our next event coming, it will most likely be week 2 of March. I think I plan on it. Yeah, weekend 1 of March or week 2 of March is when I plan on having our next event. So I will provide you guys with another real world update after that, so you guys can see what's going on in the world, how over my guys are, how prestigious my titles are, everything like that. Again, if there's anything else you want to see, please just let me know. And so I want to thank you guys for watching this little update video on NWA Chicago, and I'll see you guys in episode number 26, where we see the fallout from Starrcade.